So, strawberry. Big AI news this week. The new ChatGPT from OpenAI. And if you haven't heard about it yet, you are going to hear about it. It is big news. And I desperately want it to be called strawberry because it can now correctly count the number of R's in the word strawberry, which it totally can. But it turns out that the naming is likely to be absolutely nothing to do that, which is just what a shame. So what's actually different with this? It's already hitting the headlines. It's better at maths, it's more effective at coding, and these things are as a result of more advanced reasoning. So that's the term I keep seeing bandied about, is that it can reason like a human would, and it's got a new thought process. So let's start there. Is it actually thinking? No. It's breaking words down into tokens like all the large language models do. It's working statistically. It doesn't actually understand the meaning, but it can still give a probabilistic response. And now it's breaking things down into smaller tokens, so its character level processing has improved, but it's not actually human thinking. Thinking in this sense is just an analogy. But that's not the biggest term that's getting bandied around. The other one that I'm hearing a lot of is inference time scaling. That sounds super technical. It's not. So previously with AI, we wanted them to be able to respond fast. We want them to be creative, to give us answers that are on the whole useful, if occasionally completely insane. And we hit a bit of a ceiling. So now, instead of scaling parameters and making the model bigger and bigger, instead we're going to give it more time before it needs to respond. So more inference time becomes inference time scaling as opposed to parameter scaling. And it's using that time to run through as many possible scenarios and answers as it can and converge on a central most likely response, a little bit like Monte Carlo scaling. You end up with this sort of bell curve. That's where my hands are starting to mime a bell curve. And honestly, that's similar to the way a lot of firms were already using ChatGPT. It's a great, great strategy. It doesn't mean it can't get things wrong. It's still going to make mistakes, still hallucinates, but it's got a better shot, and that's going to make it more robust in the long term. And if you put all those things together, it's not actually intelligent. It's now a little bit slower. It takes 10 to 20 seconds. You end up with something that's still great. Like, it can get a lot of the things that the previous iterations of ChatGPT struggled with. It can get those right now, like the number of R's in strawberry. It's more likely to spot when you're trying to trick it, because a lot of people have been beta testing this, deliberately or not, and finding ways to break it or make it say something stupid. And if you're interested in headline risk, those are some of the problems you go after first. But it's still going to get things wrong. It's still got a lot of baked-in bias because it's built using training data, and that's unavoidable if you use training data that it doesn't know what it doesn't know, and that there's a sample bias and a skew in the data that it does have. So you still can't lower your guard. This is a tool that you work with, where you still need to check its answers, and as long as we stick to those rules, you got a super powerful future ahead. So human in the loop, peeps.